And
And
we're
we're
live.
live. All right. Jeremy Brown. What's up, dude?
What up?
Okay. So, yeah, we started this. We're starting this live podcast. However, we're not really starting the podcast itself. So we're just kind of chit chatting about the topic for today, which is understanding the expectations. And we do not have a script. We just kind of run. And Jeremy's had some thoughts, and I've had some thoughts, and we've been throwing them back and forth. But what were we talking about just a minute ago?
Just the expectation, like of the coach, is that the receiving of the coaching, the expectation is that they're going to do it
Sure.
to get better. So,
Well, yeah, this one could be. I have no idea as I'm stuttering over my words where this is going to go, but that's part of the good. That's the neat piece is we don't ever know where these go.
yeah. You want to just fire into it? You want to hit our play button and
Yeah.
just hell, who knows?
Let's get her to it. All right, you ready?
Get her done.
It's
You
53.
avoided saying that so you don't catch a lawsuit. I know what you did.
All right.
Dude, look how I must be getting smart. Look how much my forehead's grown in the past 6 months.
I think it's gravity that's taking your face to the planet.
Look at that,
pulling
dude.
your face down.
It's almost like the bat symbol. It's like right here. If you look, this is the top of Batman's mask.
Look, I'm getting it too. Don't worry. You're just a lot earlier than me.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I'm
Ready?
lucky, dude. Dad was wearing a hat since he was like 25. Like his shit was gone.
It was gone.
Every day I get more. Every day I wake up and I have hair still in those spots. I'm like, all right, we're good.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Do a testing for me real quick.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. ABC. 3, 2, 1. 17, 25, 36. Hut.
A little more.
A little more, a little less. A little more, a little less.
Right about there actually sounds pretty good. Let's see.
Perfect.
Turn mine up just a hair because mine's not
Hey,
quite. There we go.
Yo.
Much better.
Turn me up in my headphones. Yo.
Turn me up. Turn me up.
I don't hear my snare.
We're there. Okay. You ready?
Let's get it.
Let's do it. Performance on Demand podcast number 53 is
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Performance on Demand podcast with Craig and Jeremy, where you will learn all things endurance sports from training and nutrition to mental strength. Everything you need and want to know in one place.
This podcast is brought to you by a Corona Light, glass of wine, and two dudes in a window or in a door. In a window.
And a guy in a V-neck.
Welcome everyone to Performance on Demand podcast. I'm your host Craig Willard, and this is Jeremy on the other side. The other side.
Come on over to the other side. Break on through
to the other side.
There we go.
Anybody that is 25 or younger probably will not catch that, but that's okay.
Well, the only people who listen to us are our parents, so they know the shit out of that song.
That's true.
We may have been conceived to that song. Let's not discuss that.
Well, it's such a good song, actually, too. And
it's a little old school.
So I should expect other people to know that song.
Yeah,
that's the way it works.
So, like we always do, life recap. I saw Ashes had a tournament that got rained out, but they ended up placing in the game they played.
Yeah, we played 2 games in a tournament that was supposed to probably be more like potentially 5, 6, 7 games. It rained the whole time, and then eventually after the second game, they called it and gave us a second place trophy because we were in second place for whatever. I don't know. It was really kind of a round robin game at the beginning. I'm surprised they did that, but nonetheless, we are glad to take home 7 second place trophies.
Nice.
And I kind of pulled in and got
I see that
Apple Watch, and I'm actually a friend of mine. He said that Ryan, he may be listening to this, who knows, but he said it won't change your life, but it's kind of neat. pretty much. And I said, yeah, it is kind of neat. It's not life changing, but it's fun. I get to. My mom just text messaged me, and here I am looking at it, and I guess it's just right there on the screen. I get to read it, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to you in a minute, Mom. Love ya.
Now, you're on the Apple again, right?
Yeah, I got the 6 Plus. It was where I work for a larger company, large health organization. They get my phone for me, and so Androids really aren't passing the security test very well. So I didn't get to get another Android.
One day when you become a triathlete, you'll buy Garmin's new watch, which we can also, as triathletes and endurance athletes, we can actually get our text messages and everything else on via Bluetooth. So very similar. Yeah. It's not. It doesn't have the touchscreen face and all that fun stuff to it, but for what we do is much more functional than an Apple Watch. But the Apple Watch, man, you can put on with your suit, you can put on with your your running clothes or whatever. It's a really sharp watch.
Yeah, is that the latest one? What's the latest version?
The Garmin 920.
They're kind of like everything else too, aren't they? They kind of change every so often, or is it annually? They come out with a new model. It's just a hair different enough to make you want it.
It's always just a pinch different. May have different metrics and different stuff like that, but it's generally the same for the most part. So
if you run real slow, does it ask you if you've gotten out of bed yet?
There is a move alert. I swear to God. So one day, what did I do? I think I finished up. I was training Kindle for Texas last year. We had finished up, I don't know, some stupid 6-hour, 7-hour training day on the weekend. And we get home and my watch buzzes at me after I've been home for about an hour sitting on the couch, probably eating nachos or some shit. And it buzzes at me. It tells me to move. I'm like, no, screw you, buddy. Yeah. I finally turned that sucker off.
Moving. Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah. So let's get into this topic.
Yeah.
I have no idea where this unscripted conversation is going, but it's got to go somewhere, right?
Well, and we had a little bit of a pre-chat, and it kind of started to go somewhere, but I think that this one is one that I brought up today. I said we need to talk about. It's expectations. I think that sometimes, and I'll just hop right into my thoughts on it, expectations can be dangerous, but they can also be, a driver. And so, to me, it depends on kind of how you weight them and what that expectation's level of, I don't want to say success, but maybe completeness is based on what it is built around. So if it's expecting someone to do something, then that's going to carry a different value than expecting yourself to get your ass out of bed tomorrow morning to go do the workout. That's a little bit different than me expecting Craig to call me on my birthday. And I think it is a double-edged sword from my point of view that, but I kind of want to dive into it and really talk to you from a mental aspect of from that mental aspect, what are expectations? Expectations to me, a lot of these buzzwords we say, expectations and confidence, all this stuff, but it's I really want to get to the core of it is what is an expectation? And I don't know if you've read any papers or done any research or heard any other theories on it or have your own theory about it, but what is it and what is its place in our life?
Well, I would say that expectation is some level of criteria we use to apply to whatever it is that we have an expectation for that says this is going to be successful if this is met. So it's something that we must meet. So in the sense of criteria, is an athlete doing their best or not is based upon another set of criteria. And we have criteria for everything, whether we're, judging our friends or, how good our kids are at school today. Were you good at school today? Did you eat all your lunch? Did you get, whatever? Did you make good grades? But we all have some sort of criteria, and expectations are no different. It's just another level of criteria or another type of criteria.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's an if this then that type of setup.
Well, it's more of I would say it's more of no. If you were to say if you run, and let's
if you call me on my birthday, then I'll be happy.
Yes, then expectation is that Craig cares about me.
Right.
Okay.
Whether or not it comes right out and says that, or I say that to myself, it's that is my back of my mind. That's my expectation.
Right. And generally speaking, people create expectations, whether it's about themselves or other people, and they don't tell anyone.
Right. Sometimes they don't know until after the fact.
Well, that's true. That's true. If you and as we said earlier, when you're talking about other expectations, and this is really, really big, especially in the realm of just life in general, but it also affects you at work and many, many other places. And that is when you have an expectation that is unmet, you get frustrated and you get angry.
Okay.
So if you expect your friend to call you, or if you expected them to come by and help you, or you expected them to respond in a certain way. You're in a meeting and you have somebody over here and you expect them to stand up and hold their own and be strong-headed and have a backbone, and they don't.
Right.
Or you expected them to, go pick up, you expected your kids to go pick up the toys in the yard, and they didn't. Now you're going to be upset because that's expectation you didn't meet. Now, the question is did they know about that expectation? Because if they don't know about it, obviously they may not ever meet it.
Right.
But
right.
There's a whole other realm, which I think is maybe an important place to talk about here, and that is the realm of coaching. As a professional coach, when you deal with athletes, and I would ask you this from your perspective, is what is it like from a coach, rather, what is it like for an athlete to have those expectations from the coach?
Yeah. So I can speak on that from an athlete that is coached and from a coach that leads athletes. I think beyond a shadow of a doubt, the key to having realistic expectations and understood expectations is communication, without a doubt. Because if you come to me, just an example, and say, Jeremy, you know what, I'm going to do an Ironman after I graduate, 4 years, I want to go 11 hours. But in the back of your mind, you really want to go 9:30. Well, there's an issue, right? There's the communication breakdown. Sometimes that can come, I think, from insecurities, from maybe a fear of failure or a fear of the perception of failure. But as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to expectations, they do get created. Whether it's my creation, I've created expectations before because you're paying me to do a service. I'm getting you to where you tell me you want to go, but when you get there, you're not happy. And so for me, I got to step back and say, okay, what were your expectations for that lead up? And what are your expectations going forward? Because like you said, sometimes we say them, sometimes we don't. And I personally have gotten somewhere, gotten in a position, realized I had an expectation that never even crossed my mind. And so for me, it was a letdown, but I didn't realize that expectation was in place at that point in time. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so I think expectations are helpful. I think that a lot of athletes hire a coach because, they always use that one word, accountability. Almost every athlete that hires a coach says something about accountability. That's why I have a coach. I cannot coach myself. That accountability comes from expectation, whether spoken or unspoken. It comes from, I know that my coach Derek is going to log in every day or every other day and see if I did that workout. Now, we haven't communicated and said that is a high level of expectation or even one that he really has. But in my head, it is, he expects me to complete the workouts he's building. And so with that, I think that it becomes a driver. Sometimes I'll lay in bed and I'm like, oh, shit, I don't want to get up this morning. Oh, damn. Derek's going to say something if I miss this bike workout, right?
Yep.
And so I think it could be a driver, but I also think it could be a hindrance when we have a certain expectation of ourselves. And let's say we go out and we have a bad workout and we expect it to be in the best fitness ever when we go out and we just bomb it for some reason. And it could be something that we cannot see, whether it's nutrition, whether it's hydration, heat, sleep, stress, whatever. And our expectation is to never have a bad workout, right? Or to nail every single workout. And if we don't nail it, then we're not performing where we should be. So that's, I think, when it's a hindrance. And so that expectation needs to be, I believe, accurately communicated between coach and athlete.
Yeah, you get to a point where expectations become rigid, make you become rigid. If you do expect perfection, I would much rather someone say I desire it, but not expect it, because that is not going to be met. And when you don't meet expectations, are you getting wine delivered?
I'm
Is this a
getting
wine delivery service?
This is a champagne delivery service. That is correct. I put in a request, and I'm sure that this bill is going to be high, but
I bet it will too.
I put in a request and said I'm feeling a little parched, and I am very, very lucky enough to have a beautiful woman delivering it to me. So
that's awesome. Well, here's what I think from a coach perspective.
See, we're talking about expectations. I know what this is going to cost me. I know the expectation of this.
Right.
Thank you, man.
There is a value in that need that you just had,
and we did not communicate that. We did not communicate what that was going to cost me, but I know.
My guess is it's the look that she gave you that says, "Oh, sweetheart, you're paying."
Yeah, shit just got real.
Yeah.
You just wrote a check and it's blank.
That's right. But when it comes to, I just worked with an athlete the other day that is competitive. And they were doing a race that is not. They're just doing one. And so their mind automatically wants to set an expectation for competitive mode instead of, hey, just go have fun.
Right.
And sometimes the expectation to say I'm an athlete, to be an athlete, I must be competitive. And to be competitive, I must give it everything I have. But just don't forget to lose sight of, enjoyment. And that kind of falls back to, as an athlete, I would think that your expectation is basically the values that you're receiving from a coach.
Right.
It's hey, my coach is going to stay consistent with me. He's going to, I have a plan for somewhere that I want to go at some point. If I set that expectation that says I'm going to get there sooner than later, and if maybe by chance it's a bit unrealistic, then I could find that the expectation, as you said earlier, becomes more of a rigid barrier of sorts, where now it becomes a weight. It's a weight and burden. Whereas, if you say, look, my coach is going to be on me, he or she is going to stay on me and stay consistent. He's going to ask questions when necessary. It's more of again, you're going to have to, it's important to draw criteria to say, what is a coach expectation? What is an athlete's expectation? An athlete's expectation may be, look, not every day's your best. That's fine. And you may have the crappiest workout ever, but if you've committed to giving it everything you have, then you put in your notes, hey, I give it everything I have today. It may not have been as much as it's been, but it's everything that I gave today was all I have. Yep. There's not much your coach going to be able to say. And I would think reality, if you told your coach, look, I want to be the best I can ever be, he or she will continue to push you up to where you don't need expectations. Just allow your training and your results of that training, how you're growing and developing your anaerobic or all the other 10 million things you can work on over there at Monterey Multisport. But all those things they develop virtual stair steps.
Yep.
And so you continue to push it up a little bit more, right? And so then you wouldn't need an expectation for really how you're going to perform. Just you're going to perform the best you can perform based upon the work you've done.
Right. And you're kind of saying that it's funny because every time you'll be talking to something to trigger me, but I've learned, if anything I've learned in business, running business for myself, is one of the fastest ways to screw up is to not A, set realistic expectations, and B, not communicate those expectations. There are some athletes that they expect me to have a once a week phone call with them. That's their expectation, whether spoken or unspoken.
Right.
Some athletes, I have to text them or call them or email them and say, hey, I see your login workouts. Are you still alive? Right? Totally low maintenance, just go and do their thing. But other ones, they want to talk every so often. They want to have you make notes in their training peaks. So those expectations must be communicated clearly from the beginning to avoid someone being let down or hurt or whatever the other negative words that come with that. Right. And it's just like anything else in our life, any other relationship. We expect something. I think I'm going to say this just kind of going off the top of the dome, but I don't think we come into a situation as human beings where no expectation is set. Whether and if you may have a completely different opinion, I want to hear it, but whether realized or unrealized, I think when you meet someone and begin a relationship, whether it's a friendship, business relationship, there are expectations of some form. Sometimes we don't always know what they are, but I think human interaction is founded but one of the key components is expectation, both good and bad. Your thoughts on that? I could be completely off base. I just literally came up with that shit as I was going. But to me, it seems like I was trying to think of a time where I genuinely did not have any expectations, like none.
I think it might be, and I won't say this, it's human nature or innate. Uh, I do believe that many people do create expectations, if not all people create expectations, that they're, whether it's in how you're treated or not treated, what someone's going to do for you, what's in it for me, on some level, probably. Do I go into every relationship now or friendship or situation and expect certain things? Yeah, probably. However,
I just feel like it's there,
I've
whether we
spent-
know
I've
it or
spent a-
not.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked a significantly long time to release myself from expectations of people.
Yeah.
So I would say that it is a never-ending battle, in that I'm constantly reminding myself that, and it's, I'm human too, and I coach on this stuff, and that is that, sometimes I want to get upset. We've had clients, and we don't name them, but we've had clients who are truly frustrating, right? I mean, we have expectations for them.
The fifth here.
And, yeah. We have people that have tons of capability, tons of ability, but they are kind of in their own way. And my expectation is, hey, and I have one as a mental coach. I have an expectation. If you want this, A, you must do the work, and B, you must show it to me. Because if you don't do the work, what I send you, away from a call with, or whatever it may be, if you're not going to do it, then my expectation is you don't want it. My expectation has been met that says, hey, this guy or this girl doesn't really want this as bad as she does. Therefore, I need to put more effort into people that really want to grow and move and whatever. So I have to work constantly. Yeah, well, I have to constantly evaluate and pull back on expectations, especially at work, because it's so easy for you to assume that someone's going to do something, and yet you build the expectation that they're going to do it, and yet they don't do it, and then it upsets me. So I really do limit how much that affects me, and I've gotten pretty good control over it to where, people don't. It doesn't really bother me as much as it used to. Matter of fact, we had a situation not that long ago with a vendor, and one of the guys in my office, he's all upset over it, and he comes in, and I guess he expects me to be upset over it, and I'm just like, it'll be fine. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just not going to worry about it. I mean, we'll take care of it. We'll deal with it, but I'm just not going to worry about it right now. And it bothered him because I didn't meet that expectation of his, that he thought I should be upset as he did. And then when we sat down and talked about it, I say, look, I get it. My response is not what you expected, but my feelings are exactly the same. We feel just the same. I'm just choosing not to respond in a negative manner. Instead, I'm going to use that and be constructive with it and try to either build a bridge between where we are and where these people need to be, or we maybe need to go in a different direction with vendors, whatever it may be. But
right. Well, and I think that again, that unspoken expectation. I think that's the most dangerous one. And I have found that when I do, because I'm in a very similar place to you, it's like I have gotten to a point in my life where I try to go into relationships or associations with people open-minded, very open-minded, and almost very cognitive of expectations. If I have them, I make sure they're known, but I also make sure that I don't go in with unrecognized expectations.
Right.
The ones that I may not see. And so I really think about things. Maybe I overanalyze things at times, but I find that the less you expect, the more people will generally surprise you.
Yes.
So when you don't expect something and something happens, it's like, holy shit, that's awesome. I did not expect you. Kids. Here we go. Prime example.
I didn't expect that. Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like, with kids, I didn't expect you to put the lid on the peanut butter and put it back up. That's awesome. Right. Even though I know you should, and you should, but it's like that. The more you go into it, and this is, like I said, something I am continuing to grow and develop. So you talk about growing, and the less you expect, the more you're surprised. And
what if
people want to do good? And I think we've had a discussion before. Like I believe, and maybe I'm just, as I say, I just see rainbows and unicorns shitting rainbows all the time. But I believe that people, generally speaking, have the ability to do good. And if you step back and you don't I think with expectation, you pressure people at points in time. If you don't pressure them into a certain move or a certain direction, I think that generally speaking, they will do good and you'll be surprised.
Sure. In that would go for, someone's wife who, if you expect them to tell you every morning when they get up they love you and they don't, your first thought may be, well, maybe they don't love me.
Maybe they don't love me. Oh, isn't that dangerous though? Woo!
Oh my God, well, it is. And that's the same thing.
With exclamation mark. Are you really not that excited? You always use exclamation marks. Where's the smiley face at?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why is it that I sent you 50 words in a text and you sent me cool back? Whoa.
I know, it's been 9 minutes since I text you. What are you doing? Am I not important?
Respond. Right. Is there somebody there with you? Who are you with? Where are you at? Like whatever.
Now
on the other side, so this gets into, and I'll put this one out here. So we talk a lot about goals, and we have.
Shit's about to get real. You hear that breath? That's like the female pressure relief valve. We know what the hell that means.
Well, and I just heard the other day by one of the athletes, and I do have a secret goal, and I'm like, oh boy, here goes, and there are people that will, there's a lot. Not everybody has their own way. I'm not saying that mine's right, and I'm not saying that like my thoughts on greatness. Les Brown, who is far more successful in this world with coaching and sitting in front of people, says that greatness is blah blah blah. I just don't follow that train of thought. I don't believe in it, and I gave my reasons why, and people can decide that from listening to mine and whatever else. But when it comes to goals, a lot of people will say you want a goal that you tell people, and then you want a goal that no one else knows. And the problem with that is, if you're working with someone, let's say you're working with Jeremy Brown at MindRight, and he has a goal and a goal that he's going to tell you, hey, I want to do, this guy's I want to do this or that. So you got that goal. And then there's this quiet goal just kind of in the background that he really wants to meet, really, really, really wants to get.
And will be let down if I don't.
Yes. If he doesn't get that goal, the one that's secret, hi.
Hey, cutie.
Hey, that's my little daughter. Hi.
Say hi.
You say hi?
Hi.
All right.
Hi.
We're on a podcast. Let me give you a few minutes. All right. And so if he doesn't tell you, see, that's real life right there. If he doesn't tell
this is not scripted. Now you have a cow in your room.
I know. I got a cow in my room, and my daughter just interrupted because she wanted to get a hug from Dad. But if I don't tell that goal that's secret, and you hold it as an expectation that you are to meet it, that's a storm just brewing.
Yep, it is.
And your coach says, oh my God, look at you. You did so good.
Nailed
everything that we talked about. You nailed it, except, well, you're shoulders are, you're unhappy. Your shoulders are dropped. Your head's dropped. You're looking down. You feel like you're a failure and whatever else because you didn't present it. So my opinion, again, it's an opinion, is that you don't have those, is that you express any and all desires and goals with your coach. If you do not trust them with their desires and your goals, then that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But tell them, even your deepest goal when it comes to whatever you're working with, that they can help you achieve so they can help you get there.
So how about this one? And this is going to be a mind screw. How about when someone has an expectation of what you expect of them? So someone has in their mind an expectation of how you expect them to perform.
Sure. No.
So
and that's probably more common than we think.
Oh, dude. So athlete X goes out,
really common.
crushes a race after a lot of life stress, a lot of things going on, a lot of changes, goes out and has great day. Is it a PR? Not quite, but very damn close. And athlete X is really angry after the race because they think they let you down.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hang on, you had an expectation of me having a certain level of expectation for you.
Right.
What the hell just happened here? Like, how does that happen?
Well, this is where, and we really didn't I really had not envisioned to head in this direction, but this is where you get into the fear of success. Because when we do become what one or someone or maybe yourself starts to recognize as success, now it becomes an expectation that I must always achieve this level of success, or people are going to think that I'm just a fake, or that it was just you won the national championship last year, but this year you're in the, you're in the, not in the tournament. And
hey, let's not,
you know what I'm saying?
5 years is too soon. Too soon.
but that's kind of the kicker to people that fear success, is they're afraid of the expectations that will set. The funny thing is the only expectations set are those in which they set themselves, or the assumption of what other people expect of them, which is not real either. So it's very irrational, and something that's more it's out there a lot more than people are willing to admit or even see.
Yeah, and that's so true. And I think we kind of beat this one up, and I guess I'll go ahead and kind of wrap it up. And I will say, we're always open and honest on this podcast. And everybody knows Craig and I took like 6 weeks off, and I think it comes from a difference in expectations, and we chat about it a little bit. But my problem is Craig would not wear the same V-neck sweater or T-shirt he has on now every podcast. So for those that aren't watching the podcast right now, you're missing out on this. I'm pretty sure it's a Ralph Lauren. I think I saw that logo earlier. V-neck T-shirt. This guy has game. I'm wearing my V-neck T-shirt next week. Watch me. So from now on, now my expectation, I didn't realize it was there, but after seeing you in the V-neck, I'm like, you know what? That's what the problem was. You just are not sexy enough to be on the other side of that screen. So right. now that we're back, I need you to kind of maintain that standard that I expect.
All right, we got it. From this point forward, I'm going to show my boobs with my V-necks.
I'm telling you, that cleavage is legit, and you've got some man boobs going on. I mean, your legs are chicken shit, but your upper body's solid. I'm game.
Yeah. My legs, they the foundation is just big enough to support the top. That's just enough.
He's got a 52-story skyscraper on 6 inches of foundation, people.
I did, we did legs 3 days ago, and we didn't do any squats. My back, man, squats are just, they're murder on your spine. And so we didn't do squats, but we did a lot of leg presses. I did 1,000 pounds on leg press again, and I shouldn't have, and I've regretted it for 4 days. And I say regret because for 4 days I walk funny. It was one hell of a hard rep, but I got that thing up. But I've worked. How much
size that adds to your ego? Because that doesn't really do shit for your legs.
Well, it's the only thing that keeps my legs remotely strong. My hamstrings stay. It keeps my hamstrings stay pretty strong. It's the quads that don't. It's the quads that you don't see. The hamstrings are good.
So you get done with this damn continuing education thing you're going through right now. I'm telling you, we're gonna get those quads right. You're gonna have some legit quads.
The thing is, all
of that. Go ahead.
Well, I kind of enjoy it because I get to wear the cheaper pants. I always had to have my jeans fitted. Back when I was doing, heavy legs and doing the 400-pound squats, which really kind of jacked my back up, and that's kind of why I quit doing them. And I always get my pants tailored. Now I can just kind of wear them off the shelf, and it's kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie. It's not money.
Always small in the waist, tight in the legs.
No expectations, man. I got none. Go to the gym, work out.
I'm beginning to have none for your legs either. I'm seriously, there's not little expectation for your legs. I mean,
here's the thing. The next time I see you, the next time I see you, if my calves or my quads are bigger than yours, I'm making you take a picture, some hideous picture, and we're posting on Facebook. How about that? And I'll do the same. Mine will be big.
It's not about mass. Here to go with the size thing again. It's not about the girth. It's about the function. The function of the muscle.
I have not fallen in a long time. They function just fine.
So all that being said, I mean, expectation is, I think, a slippery slope.
Jeremy,
I think
you're an asshole.
True story. Cheers to that one. Cheers to that one. So I think that expectations are a slippery slope. I think they do have a place, honestly, in our lives. I think they do have a little bit of place, and maybe more so expectations of our own abilities or our own desire. To me, that creates maybe a little more drive. I expect nothing but the best for myself. Whatever the best is, it's like our 100% rule. I expect myself to give my all the time. And it's not probable. It's not going to happen all the time. But I think that the flip side of that coin is when we start to expect things from others or we have unrealistic expectations. So I think it has a place, like everything else in life, though, and everything else we talk about, it's in moderation. It's as long as you have it under control, then it belongs. Just like fear. Fear's okay to have around. You just got to have it under control. You just got to know what you're doing. And I think that those things have a place. And for me, every day that goes by is another day that I've learned more about expectations, whether it's setting them or tearing them down.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to have expectations of yourself, just make sure you expect the best of yourself. And of others, don't have expectations that aren't clearly aren't clearly set, are not communicated, because it's only going to set yourself up for a potential whirlwind, a potential disaster, and maybe something that even ends up destroying or potentially completely destroying to the point it's never there. Friendship or relationship, or even a coaching relationship. Get those. It's critical. You said it earlier. You said it in the beginning, and we'll end with it. Communication is absolutely critical. If you do not communicate it, that's on you. If you don't communicate, if you don't ask the questions, if you have something that you feel like is an expectation that hasn't been conversated about, ask. If you're too bashful to ask, put it in an email or send it in a text message. Whatever it may be, but get it out in the open so it can be conversated about. Half the time people get bothered and upset about something that the other person didn't even know anything about, didn't even register, because to them, it didn't matter. That's the thing in life, is that things that matter to you don't matter to me. Things that matter to me don't matter to you.
And the level of priorities and everything else is
probably the biggest expectation we have as human beings is that other people are just like us. And it's probably good. It's the worst one, really, because we forget that other people have lived a completely different life. We forget that other people have had their own battles. They got their own scars. They got their own wounds.
Well, and as much as you and I are in sync with a lot of stuff, we as well come from different backgrounds, different upbringings, different philosophies, different lessons learned as a child, probably different belts used on both of our asses. That probably should have been used a few more times, but
right, wrapped around my neck a few times.
Right. So I'll end with, if you're going to expect anything from yourself, and this kind of piggybacks on our last episode, is expect excellence. And I think that for me, I think that's something that I'm trying to do and striving to do as I move forward as a person, as an athlete as well.
That's what I coach more than anything else. Is don't worry, as we talked about the last one, don't worry about greatness. That's you and you against other people. But excellence is something you can do every single day, and that's all you can ask of yourself. That's all you can ask of yourself. Anything beyond that might just get you in a position to where you stop.
Yep, true story. All right. Cheers to that, brother. All right, dude.
All right, brother. It's good talking to you. If you want to get a hold of Jeremy over there at MontereyMultisport.com or MontereyMultisport@gmail.com. You can also get a hold of me over there at, I'm going to say, Craig Willard, www.craigwillard.com.
All right, hang on, time out. You did well, except www is no longer needed.
I know.
Damn it, you were so close.
Well, the only reason I say this is because when I say my name, I want to make sure they understand that it is a website, and it is craigwillard.com, and you can reach me at craigwillard@u-discover.com. That's next. Craig@craig.com.
Craigwillard.com. That's not egotistical at all.
Yeah, I won't be able to do that. I'll have to do something else.
The next thing will be, you can reach Craig at BigDaddyC@craigwillard.com.
Well, I mean, if Jeremy has anything to do with it, he's going to say, oh man, I saved your website. It's I went ahead. It was like $9. It was called NoLegs.com.
Listeners, do not go to that website. I'm going to assume that's not a good site to visit if it is out there.
All right, man. It's good talking to you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Until next Sunday. See ya. Bye.